I love the summertime timer.
There's that cool sun.
Yeah, so you do burn more calories doing strength training and stuff.
Yeah, and so like I guess like the whole point is to burn some, is to just try to be in a calorie deficit in some way, because the only way you're gonna burn fat is by sleeping at night.
Right.
Is really what it is. And so if like you're in a calorie deficit, then you'll burn the fat at night when you sleep, because that's when your body goes, all right, now it's time to convert all this stuff into the energy that we need. Oh, we don't have enough, guess we'll pull from reserves, kind of an idea. And so they say like if you like can have an activity that you enjoy doing that's going to get all your movements and everything like that in for the day, like that's what you should really do. And you've probably put on weight because you do this more than you've ever done in your entire life, which is sit and consume or watch or whatever.
Right.
So, trying to play more frisbee golf. Been trying to do like we have the nature trail right here. So like being more active and being like, yeah, let's go walk the trail. Let's go walk the neighborhood. Like why not take 30 minutes of my life and go for a walk with my family. Just try to do like more of that kind of stuff. Be more physically active. And it's been slow. It's not like a super fast, but it's been slow. But I don't know. I played frisbee golf yesterday, and I was really annoyed all day because now I have to play frisbee golf in athletic shorts because my other shorts don't stay up while I'm playing frisbee golf.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Doesn't matter how hard you cinch that belt.
Well, I saw a guy that I follow, and he said, "Look." He said, when you're talking about getting fit, getting in shape, doing something different, everyone looks at like bodybuilders and they're like, oh, those guys are too bulky. I don't want to do that. And then they look at runners and they're like, runners always look miserable. I don't want to do that.
They are miserable.
And they see swimmers, right? They're like, that's what I want. That's the body that I want. And so they go swim. And they swim for like 5 months and they don't look any different. And what they don't realize is that guy doesn't look that way because he swims. He swims because he's built that way.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a big guy that's really fast, and I play rugby. But I don't look like this because I play rugby. I play rugby because this is how I'm built. And he said, I think a lot of times. Oh, and I
play World of Warcraft because that's the way I'm built. Is that what you're trying to say, Josh?
Well, no, he was coming off this video of this guy that's just ripped, and he's doing like, hey, you can get this way by doing sit-ups and push-ups every day.
Your summer abs. It's not too late. I think we watched the same video.
And the guy's like, hey, when you're getting into fitness training, don't forget to account for your genetics and your DNA, because that's so much of the way things work. Find something that works for you, that you can replicate and is sustainable, and that makes you feel better, and then kind of whatever else comes from there. So,
and that's my major motivation right now is I want to throw further playing frisbee golf. I want to be able to wrestle harder with Sam as he gets older and want to get on the floor. And
more importantly, get off the floor.
And I really want to be able to get back up off the floor. Yeah. And honestly, I just want less of a belly. Like, to be fair, like everyone's dream is to get rid of their belly. So
I want to get rid of my belly, but I don't want to do the work. Is there one of those? There's a magic pill for that, right?
I'm enjoying the work because I'm enjoying the frisbee golf.
Yeah,
I went and played. We went and played Monday at Harry Myers Golf Course in Rockwall, Texas. Same place I played that tournament in. I was so happy. It was so much fun, but I left really mad because I still threw a +7 on that course. I had a shot at eagle, and instead of just laying up and taking my birdie, I shot for it, overshot it, missed my birdie putt, and parred. And then on the other par 5 on that course, I had a pretty good tee off, or I had an okay tee off. Terrible follow-up shot. Terrible follow-up shot. Terrible follow-up shot. Great approach. Great putt for a triple bogey on a par 5.
Yeah, that's
brutal.
tough. bogeying a par five is tough in any kind of golf.
Yeah. Triple
Yeah.
bogeying a par 5. So
Really
I had 4 birdies on Monday, 1 triple bogey, and 2 double bogeys.
Till we're all growing a beard. A man's face should never be bare. We just want some facial hair. We're anticipating, yeah, everyone's waiting for a beard.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is Behind the Beards, where we pull the curtain back, take a look behind the scenes, and reveal the things that go on in the hearts and minds of your church and ministry leaders.
That's right.
In case you're new with us, I am Joshua Fowler, preaching minister in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And my partner here is Aaron Partlow, and youth minister in Longview, Texas. Man, it's been a crazy, I would say week, but it's been a crazy month around
It's that
my
time,
house,
man. It's that time where it's about to just kick off. And you would think you would be used to it as the third child, right?
So it's graduation, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of different, and it's the youngest.
It's your third child graduating. That's where I was
And-
going with that.
Right, but everyone has been so different because of the different. Jody got to graduate on the football field, so he didn't have to go anywhere.
Oh,
This
yeah.
year they went back to going to Southeastern to graduate in the. It's so hot and it rains so frequently that they're
Right.
very hesitant to use the football field because it's always a threat for rain.
Mm-hmm.
But so we had to drive out to Hammond to use Southeastern's basketball arena to graduate in. Lots of family in town, getting ready for a wedding in Pennsylvania here in a week or so, 2 weeks. Dylan's got nationals coming up for bowling. So there's been a lot of things that have kind of come right here. And then you compound that with how much housework I procrastinated until the last minute as people were coming. I'm finishing my floor the night before people are coming to visit because I made a promise to my wife that her floor would be ready for company. I delivered on the promise, but it was by the skin of my teeth. So
Right.
some of that's my own doing. But man, it's been really good. Been really good. Got to see a lot of folks we hadn't seen in a while. Dylan's graduated. Jody's home from school, so but they're all at work now, and the house is quiet for the first time in a while, and that's a little eerie. What's going on in your world?
Man, I got this youth rally coming up Thursday, and they're just I got one of them good, bad problems, right? People just keep signing up for it.
Heaven forbid.
Last year we had 60 something people, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. This year we have 114 signed up as of today. And so it's church groups are hearing about it. They want to come, start off their summer with a good kickoff. And I'm excited. I really am, and I'm honored. But I also feel a lot of pressure. So I'm trying to make it really
Right.
good. I'm trying to make it really awesome. I'm trying to make it spiritually, and but I'm also trying to find room for them. So I just finished my awesome youth room. I'm really excited about it, and now we're not going to use it because normally that's where we would serve food, but I can't fit
Right.
140 people in there to eat food. So now we're going to do it in the fellowship hall, which means we're going to have to convert the fellowship hall into tables and chairs, and then also I'm trying to figure out how to set all that up because I don't want to use our church auditorium. Okay, if you're a youth minister out there, if you can avoid using your church auditorium, if you have that option, do it. It makes it so much easier for cleanup because you don't have to worry about Sunday. So I'm trying to stay out of that space, out of that area. Although
You don't have to worry about vacuuming between the pews.
that's right, don't have to worry about that extra cleanup that goes on there, because nobody really cares about the fellowship hall. I mean, you just mop the thing and you're fine.
Right.
So, trying to figure out how this is all going to play out, how it's all going to work out. So I've got that on my mind. I've been chewing on that for the last week. My wife was gone last week visiting her cousin for graduation. So I had the little man all to myself, which was awesome and a lot of fun. But I got half the amount of work done that I needed to.
You mean toddlers take energy and time
They
away from your
do.
normal schedule? What's
They
up with
do. I got
that?
everything done that I needed to for that week, but I didn't get any of the extra stuff that I wanted to get done. So we're just like, this is like, my June is crazy, and I'm feeling the pinch for my June. I've got this Netsis Day here at Pine Tree. We got our Avocado Sunday, which is our transition Sunday for our new 7th graders coming into youth group. We go to Soul Quest soon, which I'm really excited about. And then we'll come straight back and go right into Netsis camp. And then I get to breathe and take some breaths. And all I have is VBS in July, which will be awesome and a lot of fun. And I think we'll do some other stuff in July, of course, with the youth group. But it's coming, and like, it's right around the corner. And my biggest stressor that I have right now is just getting people signed up. Like, people that I know want to go to events, but getting them to actually do the registration part of it.
Right.
So just working on
So you
that
can
part.
actually plan. Yeah, well, ours, we have like a busy family June and then a busy church July. So I'm so glad you muted your mic for that.
I got it.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Nice timing. And so our church camp runs in July. So we actually have 4 sessions, but we're actually doing 2 of them.
Nice.
And I'm teaching at those 2 sessions. So
Congrats. That's awesome. I know how much you love church camp.
I do, man. And it's one of the things that going from youth ministry into preaching was, you just aren't involved with those summer youth activities.
Like you like to be, or
Like you like to be, right? And our kids used to go to a camp that was like 3.5 hours away, and so it made it really hard, even to show up and be a part because you got other obligations. But we've gotten into doing some work here with the camp that's just about 40 minutes away, so it's so much easier to stay in touch and involved with those things.
And there's
I'm
so many
excited
pros
about
and
that.
cons, like when choosing where to go to church camp and how far away you want to be, because there's value in both. There's value like being 40 minutes away and being able to like, oh, I forgot this, and being able to hop in and go and real quick be back before, like, go during lunch and be back before
Right.
lunch is even over. But then there's value in the bus ride to a church camp that's 3.5, 4 hours away, and value driving home from that as well. Like there's so many cool things that kind of happen, and there's value about being in a place that has great internet and great reception on your phone to be able to communicate and stuff, right? But then there's also so much value in being in a place where there's no service, no internet, no communication, no technology, no distractions whatsoever. So it's like there's a lot. See, those are some of the things that people go, well, I just think you should be 40 minutes closer and have no phones. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's one view. But honestly, like, I can list off 20 pros and cons for each side, and
When I was in camp, our cabins
I know.
didn't have air conditioning, and all these
Yeah.
kids are spoiled nowadays. It's like, not just the kids,
That's
counselors
right.
too. And I am thankful for that AC in the cabin.
Matter of fact, I just went out to a church camp and I got to speak to their counseling staff for the summer, and I was very blessed, and I love to do it. And it's a place where a lot of my kids go for church camp. And I went, this is interesting. I said, where's the staff stay? Is there different commodities for like staff? And they're like, no, like this is it. And I'm like, this is it. So at like
Yeah.
some point within me, I was like, oh, I'm glad I don't get to go to camp. Like, I'm really glad you guys are going, and I want you to have the best time ever. But I need AC, like,
but this is me making a different choice.
and I don't sleep with snakes. Like, I don't need that in my life. And until I can afford to buy a little camper that I can pull at the edge, I don't need to go out there. It's fine.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, and you can pull a camper with that edge.
I could.
Well, man, we got it's gonna be the last episode that we do, and like you said,
Ever.
you're really busy in June. I'm really
Just
busy
kidding,
in
everybody.
July, so maybe end of July, first of August, we'll
That's right,
kind of
yeah.
get geared back up. But
Maybe we'll do a live in-person episode.
hey, that's right. May get that work out.
That would be cool.
So I thought we just kind of look back on, as hard as it is to believe, 2022 is almost half over. We're
That's
getting ready to enter
wild.
in June, and just kind of look back and look at kind of the good things that have gone on here in the first half of the year,
Yeah.
and then look ahead to what's coming up, and maybe set the table for what we got going on this fall. I'm really excited about fall on Behind the Beards. There's some things we got coming up,
Yeah, me too.
and so that
A lot of intentional planning going into our fall schedule.
I think so. Well, I don't know about you, but we're really kind of in a place of real transition, at
Mm.
the church here.
Mm-hmm.
We just installed two new elders,
Wow.
and I mean these guys that they have selected. Um, I don't. I'm going to say I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that they were selected. I'm surprised that they finally have kind of agreed to step into this role. It's a role they've needed to step into for a while, but they had other things going on. And these two men that are coming in, African American men, our leadership now really reflects our community, it reflects our church.
That's cool.
Um, and they are so passionate about evangelism
Mm-hmm.
and how we can reach beyond our church into the community.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's been in prison ministry for 23 years and now
Wow.
runs a ministry to help inmates reconnect once they're released,
Hmm.
and he helps their families while they're inside as well. And the other is just passionate about sharing the gospel. That's his deepest desire. And I'm just really excited about what that means for the future of our church. I think it's a huge step forward. Um, and it's just cool to see the way God's hand has been in several things that have gone on.
Yeah.
And so it's something that's been really, really positive for us over the last couple months. It has me pretty excited. What's going on? What's good in your area right now?
What's good?
Yeah.
Um,
What's good? Tell me
I think
something
it's
good.
been. I think there's a lot of good things going on. I think there's been a lot of transitional stress at Pine Tree recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like um, we've had our children's minister retired. Our engagement minister resigned, wanted to go back to school, become a family counselor, and move closer to family in Alabama. The full embrace of two services and time changes. One of our elders stepped down as well. Not for any specific reason, just because he just felt like it was time for him to retire as an elder. And so there's just been a lot of transition. There's been a lot of change. And I think, as if I understand Pine Tree's history a lot, like it's just like that's the history of Pine Tree. Is it's not like one thing happens. It's like a whole bunch of stuff happens at the same time, and so you can kind of feel like this knee jerk kind of reaction. And we've been doing a lot of good things, and so like to keep that faith, to keep going straight, to keep going good, and that kind of stuff. We've also just had a lot of funerals this year. There's been a lot of death at
Mm-hmm.
Pine Tree, and I know that our preaching minister has felt that pull quite a bit because like it takes a lot of extra work, to
Mm-hmm.
prep a funeral, but it also takes a lot out on your church family to mourn and to be in a constant state of mourning. I think we've had 12 funerals since the start of the year,
Yeah.
or something like that. And so it's just like there's just been a lot of like that kind of energy that's going on. So I think people are looking forward to summer. Our preaching minister, like you guys know, we had Jody on an episode. He's going to take a sabbatical here in July. So I'm trying to wrap my head around like what it's going to look like to have both our Hispanic minister and our preaching minister gone for July on sabbatical. So it's just like I don't know. There's just like it's just a weird vibe, weird feeling right now, but it's good. It's been good. but it's just been like there's just been a lot of trusting and a lot of trusting God, like to be honest.
Right. So even
Through
in
all of this.
in the midst of all that, you look out and like people are still there, right?
Yeah.
People are still present. They're still looking forward to what's ahead. And so sometimes, even in the midst of some really difficult times, you can still look and say, hey, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
These are really good people that are here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really good people trusting in an even better God. And what we know is that on the other side of this, there's going to be some real growth that occurs.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's a really difficult perspective to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so important to look and find those things. Yeah.
Something that I am excited about that I didn't even know about. One thing I like about Pine Tree is like I don't know everything that's going on. And like honestly, like to be fair, like to come from a work situation where I knew everything that was going on all the time in every ministry, to move into another ministry where like I'm expected to run and know everything that's happening in the youth ministry. But there's other people who are actively doing other ministries. And I don't have to be in the know. Like I can just be a member and find out about it. They made an announcement on Sunday that in the fall they are encouraging our senior members to sign up to teach our the little kids, to teach our elementary kids, and I'm wondering if it's even going to go on to the youth group kids. I think it will, but hoping to do all of that. So that we are intentionally having a marriage class and family class and all these other classes meant for our younger families, and then to be able to do a flip flop. We have a lot of younger families who volunteer in our children's ministry and our youth ministry and stuff like that. And so in the fall, we're intentionally taking the fall quarter as a go to class. Like go
cool.
to class and get your cup filled kind of an idea. And I think that's a really cool concept and a cool idea. And I hope that we can like build off of that and have intentional quarters and intentional things like that.
Right.
And all sorts of stuff. So I think that's like a really cool idea.
You also hope that somebody steps up to fill their shoes when they go to class, right?
I also really hope that like people will love and buy into that as much as, and maybe I'll even tie that into my sermon in July while Jody's gone. Is hey, looking forward to this fall quarter. So look at that baby.
This is something good that's going on in our life right now. Little Sophia, our grandbaby, she is almost 3 months old.
Wow. 3 months? No way.
Yeah. And so we're looking forward to getting to see them. We are hoping. I'll get really hopeful when they actually have plane tickets. But right now they've applied to get some federal relief to be able to come home. They haven't been off the island since February of 2020. And that's a long time to be stuck on a little island.
It is.
But I think they're going to be able to come home for the month of August and spend some time here. And so the second half of August, we may get to have them here at the house for a couple of weeks. And I need to lay my eyes and hands on my boy.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen him in 3.5 years. And more importantly, I need to meet my daughter-in-law and my granddaughter, man.
Right?
That's it's still like Heather and I were looking at pictures last night, and it's like this still doesn't seem real that we have a grandbaby.
Right. Yeah.
Then lots of good stuff going on. As we kind of get ready, the end of the school year is a transition for families, it's a transition for churches, it's a transition for a youth ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And when you kind of sit at the beginning of the summer and you look out, you can see a lot of points that are really challenging, and you see a lot of potential victories as well.
Right.
And when you set up for the summertime, what's one of the biggest challenges that you have to overcome in the summer? I'll let you think, because I look at this. I have from two. One of these is as someone who works with the youth a lot, I have some challenges, but as a preaching minister, I have a whole different set of challenges. And one of those summertime things you have to look for is there's so many people that are traveling. The numbers in the auditorium are frequently
Different.
20-25% lower than they normally are.
Right.
And for someone like myself, I wear that so personally
Right.
that it's easy for me to allow that to just kind of be draining and
Right.
to take kind of the energy away from me. So my challenge is always to remind myself, no matter who it is that's there, there are people who are there, who have come and who've given their time, and they need to hear a message. So
Right.
really focusing on intentionally devoting all of my energy, and all of my attention to those that are present, knowing that those that aren't are going to be back in a few months when the travel season's over. But that's one of the challenges I face as a preacher. Working with youth and kids, one of my big challenges is how do I preserve when kids go to camp and they go into these other experiences. They're middle schoolers and high schoolers are at this point in their life where they're very vulnerable emotionally, spiritually, and it's so easy for them to get into a place where I don't think it's an intentional, taken advantage of, but they make decisions and they can be formed and molded in ways that just aren't necessarily fair for the future of their faith.
Right.
And I want to really be responsible with how I, bring about a message from God that is important, that's applicable, but do it in a way that really allows them to openly and honestly wrestle with the truth of God's word and the situations that are going on. I don't want to be manipulative in any way with the messages and the camps that we have and that kind of stuff. So I see that as a real personal challenge to be intentional about. And that goes to activities as well, respecting who they are, where they are, and making sure that I'm building a foundation they can build on for the rest of their life, not just trying to get them to make the choice to be baptized.
Right. Yeah. That's
You have any
interesting.
big
I think
challenges you look at?
personally, like my big challenges for summer is I get so caught up in so I get so caught up in planning our events, planning our church camps, planning this youth rally, planning all this other stuff, that my Sundays and Wednesday nights tend to get a little less pre-prepped, a little less intentional, a little more. And it's like you said, like I've got kids who are like my youth group will shrink to about half the size, a quarter of the size, throughout the summer because they'll be gone at other events, other vacations, other things, all sorts of stuff, just all the time. And so, like my Sunday mornings, honestly, like my Sunday mornings and my Wednesday nights, they just get less intentional because I'm focused on the P's and Q's and everything else about our events.
Yeah.
And so, like as a youth minister, like I wrestle with that. So this year, I'm trying to find. I already have a teacher who's going to teach on Wednesday nights in June and July for me. And so trying to find someone who can teach on Sunday mornings for me so that maybe I can just be more present and more focused on other things, and then just be like a supporting character on those Sundays and Wednesdays. Something new. I've never really done that before. I usually like get subs to fill in for me while I'm gone. But instead of trying to find a sub, just trying to take that quarter and being like, hey, I'll be your assistant teacher or your assistant, and you are like the head honcho and main teacher. So I also am finding it difficult to get volunteers who are willing to teach curriculum, just in general. I have a lot of people who want to come in. They're like, yeah, I'll come in and teach the youth group. And I was like, sweet. He's like, yeah, I've got this really cool lesson I want to teach. And I'm like, oh, no. We have a curriculum on Sunday mornings, and I really want you to teach the curriculum. Oh, but it doesn't cover what's going on in the world today. And I'm like, no, I know. It covers like the Bible in general, like a scope and sequence. I, as a youth minister, would like to address and talk about things that are going on in the world and be more intentional and talk about that stuff. But I do that on Wednesday nights because my kids come in and they're more rested and they're more
Hmm.
able to have full on conversations, and the energy is just different on Wednesday nights than Sunday mornings. And I feel like it's just a more appropriate place to talk about those things. Or when
Hmm.
we do youth group every other Sunday, and so that's an interesting phenomenon that I don't know is like if that's like normal for a lot of other churches or other groups. But
Yeah, I think sometimes it's easy to get into a place just as humans where we have something that we've done before and we're comfortable with, or we
right,
have something that we've thought over. And I think a lot of times it's also easy to underestimate the value of having already established a relationship with people.
right, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like if I walk into a place and I don't know them, I haven't been with them, we haven't had those conversations privately that have led me to understand something. um, I can't just walk in and start teaching certain things and teaching about certain topics. I don't have the trust, and I think we underestimate the value of the work that goes into building that trust. So that, I mean, you can go in and teach it, but how was it going to be received if I don't know you and trust you and really value what you have to say?
well, also
Um,
like valuing a scope and sequence,
right.
valuing and
Hmm.
understanding the time. Like,
Hmm.
yes, this is the time where you will have the audience of the teenagers, but it's also a time that's a Sunday morning where we have a lot of visitors,
Right.
and things like that. So you want to have a good biblical Bible class. The topics are good topics. Like they're not like bad topics. They're really good topics, and they cover the passages extremely well. They're not random,
Right.
kind of lessons. And so like having that understanding and that knowledge, I don't know, just like buying in. So I'm like
Sure.
I think I need to figure out a way to get people to buy into our curriculum and the idea of doing curriculum. I think it's been a long time. I think that's part of the growing pains I'm hitting right now, like out of the honeymoon phase, and more into real relationships and moving into
Hmm.
that. And so getting people to buy into, dude, we're not being lazy in doing curriculum. There's actual plan and an actual agenda and an actual concept behind why we're doing curriculum on Sunday mornings.
Hmm.
And it will make your life easier, but it does take, I would say, equally the amount of prep to be able to read through this curriculum and use it and teach the topic and teach the word. Like I had 10 verses. We covered like 2nd Corinthians chapter 12, the first 10 verses. You know, you get to teach that for 45 minutes, 10 verses. you know,
Right.
um, and
Well,
so
and I
being
think
able
there's
to like
a
read and study that and go through that. So
there's a consistency that we need
yeah,
and a level of expectation. And I think we have wrongly assumed that our adult Bible classes don't need that.
yeah,
I look at our children's hallway, and they have a game night, they have a movie night, they've got a craft for a week,
right,
they've got a week where they do a drama, and so they have all these different ways that they are learning, and somehow along the way we said, well, to be an adult means that you sit down, you sit still, and you just don't. This is the way that you learn as an adult.
right. No,
But there are a lot of people that need those other forms of stimulation in order to be able to engage the material.
well, yeah,
Um,
and who says like you can't have fun learning the Bible as an adult?
right, right.
Like some of these silly openers I do with our junior higher kids.
Uh-huh.
And they're lame. Like they're just straight up lame. And their
Right.
transition verses, like from taking this as this into the transition into the lesson, are so bad that now like it's part of the class as a game to guess what the transition is into the lesson. And then I
Yeah.
read it word for
Right.
word exactly how it is, and I go, like, "Oh, that was so bad," But it's fun, and it actually gets them pulled into the class. And so, like, I think like if I ever taught an adult class, I would still do like these. All right, we're gonna do a little charades game, and like get adult volunteers to come up and
Hmm.
actually have to do this. And then they'd be like, I kind of remember that when we went over that passage or that lesson.
Yeah. Well, I notice, like, even in my preaching, when I have an object lesson
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
sermon, it is a whole different group of people that come up to me afterwards and say, "Man, that was really good. I really appreciated that. I really connected with that today." than it is with the others when it's just more of a lecture style sermon.
I know, right?
Or if there's more imagery in the slides that come up, it connects with the different people in a different way. And curriculum that we've put together really helps capture all of those things with all the different people
Mm-hmm.
that we might overlook otherwise. And I think I think it's easy for us to just get into a routine of, well, we're grown-ups now and this is how grown-ups act.
Yeah, we need to
Like,
be an adult.
yeah, but it's okay to tap into that little kid that's in your heart, that God has placed in your heart, and let's feed that spirit. Um, there's a lot of really cool things that I look forward to, like points of opportunities for really high points, high successes, victories, if you will.
Uh huh.
Summertime brings a whole new series of opportunities that you just don't have in the middle of the school year.
Right.
And you get a lot more one-on-one time with the people that are there because they can stay there a little later because they don't have to go to school the next morning, or they don't have homework to do. Hopefully they're not in summer school. Um, and so when I look out of the summertime, I see, those opportunities to really build relationships that we can build on. We talked about church camp. Man, I love church camp, whether it's at Soul Quest or somewhere locally, or even VBS, where you get a chance to really connect with kids in a different way.
I love
Um,
VBS. I never understood why like some youth ministers were so against like, oh, I have to help in VBS. Man, you find your niche in VBS that you enjoy doing, and then you just make sure that you get to do that part of it.
mhm.
Like, man, I love being the stupid host of
Right,
VBS.
absolutely.
Like we're doing ours is mine's favorite. This year it's a hiking theme. And man, like I'm gonna get my backpack, I'm gonna get my walking stick, I'm gonna get my hat on, and I'm gonna be adventurer Aaron, and I'm gonna get up on stage. And I worked with our children's minister this year, and I've got the videos, so I'm learning the dance moves and everything. Like, man, I think like in another life I was born to be like one of the Wiggles, and so like I use VBS to be a Wiggle up there. And I guess that's my personality. But I mean, I'm sorry, I love VBS. I love VBS.
No, and as a youth
I love
minister,
it.
these are going to be your kids, right? You don't want the
Yep.
first time they really get to know you is when they come in as a sixth or seventh grader.
Well, I feel like the
Um,
more that I love VBS and I pour into it, the more my actual youth group kids volunteer and like
oh
VBS
yeah,
as well. And being able to tap into them being willing and wanting to do that with me as well is awesome.
yeah. Um, I don't know. It's a catch-22 for me because there is a part of me that really looks forward to the unstructured nature of summer,
Right.
because it's freeing, but at the same time, by about 4 or 5 weeks in, I realize, okay, that was really cool, but I need my structure back.
Yes. Yeah. I'm with you. I
um,
hear that.
I like the freedom, but man, it really helps me to appreciate, the structure of a schedule.
I like summer, and I'm glad it's only one quarter.
That's right.
And for me, I'm really glad like summer's only like 2 months. June and July, and then I take vacation in August because June and July was a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Um, but a lot of good things going on, and it's I didn't even ask, how was your senior Sunday?
I
We
thought
haven't
it went
really.
good. I thought it went really good. Um,
Sermon
yeah,
was
I
good.
enjoyed. I enjoyed the sermon. I felt like the sermon was to the point. I feel like I got out what I wanted to say. We did something different with our Bibles this year. I worked with our shepherds, and I said, hey, I would really appreciate it. And I let you guys know that I got these Bibles 2 months early for you because I wanted you to be able to have the time to be able to do this right. And they appreciated that, which I was really grateful for. And they did a fantastic job. I said, hey, I really want you to go through the Bible. I want you to highlight some verses that are important to you. And then I want you to put a little note in the front referencing those scriptures so that teen knows that you highlighted those scriptures. and they did a fantastic job. And you're talking about like 9 or 8 guys to be able to take that for 10 seniors and to be able to intentionally, sit down in a room. I had one that said, "Great, I have tomorrow off. I'm going to come up tomorrow." And he showed up. He said hi to me, and he said, "I'm going to the elders' room." And he like closed the door, and he was like there all day working on those Bibles. And I tried to express that. I think the only thing I would do different is trying to express that better to our church body about the intentionality that our shepherds had with these Bibles this year, giving them to the seniors, because I thought that was fantastic, and I thought that was really cool, and I appreciate them doing that for those seniors, and I think that meant a whole and will mean a whole lot more to those seniors who graduated this year. So that was something that I absolutely loved. Jody, I'm so appreciative of having a preacher. And Terry Kitson did this really well at Central as well. So I'm really glad to have worked now with 2 really awesome preachers who enjoy taking that time to really pour into our seniors as well. And so, like, I preached Sunday morning, but Jody gave like a charge and encouraging words to families and the seniors at our actual senior banquet. And he did a fantastic job, just knocked it out of the park and did a really good job. And so I appreciate that he did that. I thought everything went really well this year. I think so.
Yeah, that's good. It's a big time. I mean, it really is. It's a bigger time than we give credit for.
I'll be honest.
It affects.
Senior Sunday is probably the one event out of the year that I feel actual stress about. Because there's a lot of people who have looked forward to this moment for a long time. And so, like, I feel really stressed about it because I want to get it right and I want to do it perfect for them. And so, like, people are like, "Oh, are you stressed about Nets this day?" And I'm like, no, because at the end of the day, like, I can make teens laugh. I know our speaker's going to nail it. I know our worship minister's going to nail it. That's going to be all right. I'm not the food's going to be good. Like, it'll be fine. Senior Sunday, I'm like, yeah, I hope everything's right and everything's perfect. And
every year it's a unique audience.
Yeah.
Because that kid only graduates once, and you just don't know what's next. If they go to college, are they going to come back? Is this going to be the last time I really get a chance to
pour into them?
To pour into them and to let them know the purpose that we send them off with. And so, is it more important than others? No. But at the same time, it's that last opportunity for a lot of them that you really get to tell them something that's really important. And to give them to leave with something that's valuable and lasting. So, I can, there's always another Netsis Days. There's another one in, a few weeks. I'm going to have another event that I can recover from if this doesn't go right. But this is the last chance I'm going to get to talk to some of these people. And maybe some of them have family in town for that day. And just a lot of things that are around it that make it really impactful. So. Well, before we wrap up, I'm excited about the fall. We got some guests coming in. I'm looking forward to having Josh Jones back on in October sometime.
Right.
To talk about NCYM again. I'm looking forward to some series that we've got kind of set up.
It'll be cool to have Jody back after his sabbatical.
Yes.
To give us the how to go.
Right.
Did it work? Did it
work?
For you? Do you feel
refreshed and energized?
Sabbatic? I don't know.
Sabbatical?
Does that work? Sabbatical?
I'm also looking forward to, again, it's kind of like the freedom versus structure thing. While I value this time that we spend every Tuesday, taking a little bit of a break from it and taking a chance to really think about what is coming up, I think it's going to be really valuable. And I'm looking forward to that.
Right.
Not the break, but to coming back and kind of looking back and going, all right, so now what did you learn?
What do we need to focus on in this fall? Yeah.
Right. So lots of good things to be excited about. So we're going to be gone for a couple months. We'll be back sometime in August, and with some new energy and a new spirit, maybe a little bit of a shift in direction, but a lot of good things to come.
Yeah, I hope.
You have a behind the beards moment before we sign off for the summer?
Honestly, pray for Josh and I as summer's
Yeah.
about to start. And, enjoy summer. Enjoy the changes. Enjoy the new stuff that kind of happens. But also volunteer and get involved in your local church.
Volunteer and get involved in your local church. That's the behind the beers
Volunteerism
moment.
is so low in the churches in general. Do not be a consumer. Be a part of your church, which means work and volunteer. Even if it's just teaching 2 or 3 weeks instead of doing a whole quarter, like work it out with your minister or whoever's doing it because they're stressed trying to find teachers.
It's been hard coming
For everything.
out of this COVID era. It's been really hard to get people back in the habit of volunteering time.
Yeah, or committing time, really.
Right. That I think we got into some places where we got really comfortable, and it's made some of those things really difficult. I've noticed in my own life, there's been some things that I really kind of used to look forward to, and then those things were taken away, and now I'm like, I don't really know.
Right, yeah.
And
hear
what I
that.
know is if I would get back into it, I would remember why I did it.
Right.
And I really don't need to watch 3 more episodes of that Netflix series. I really need to use that time for something a little more beneficial.
Yeah.
So just, do it. It was there before. It needs to be there again. Find those
right.
ways to engage.
We're all over the place in this podcast today, but
All over
we want
the
you
place.
to always be with Jesus. So we want to thank you for being here today. We also want to remind you of Galatians 6:9. Don't grow weary in doing good. This world is messy. This life is messy. So allow Christ to use you and do something different, volunteer. Something good in his name, volunteer. This is Aaron, and that's Josh. And we'll see you sometime in the future on Behind the Beards.
That's a wrap. Oh, it didn't click.
Till we're all growing a beard. A man's face should never be bare. We just want some facial hair. We're anticipating, yeah, everyone's waiting for a beard.
That was a good wrap-up episode.
That was something.